Hey, this is Jeff Cutler. I'm speaking with Mike Langford of Finservmarketing, who has started a number of successful companies, and his latest, Finservmarketing, is one that we're going to talk about today. And Mike's going to tell us how you create the brand, the image, and essentially reach out to customers moving forward. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about your latest endeavor and where you're headed, and how people can learn about branding, creating image, and building a successful company.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to talking with you a little bit today. The FinServ Marketing is a service that helps large populations of financial professionals, so be that financial advisors, insurance agents, wholesalers, helps them grow sustainable and profitable businesses. And we work both with the enterprise and we work with the individuals. We have a new offering that will be launching soon, an educational offering that'll allow the individuals to access the same high-quality insights that we would share with institutions at an affordable price for them. When you think about a financial advisor or an insurance agent, they have their individual brand. We're talking about branding here, right? They are an individual. Much of their business is based on referrals and their interactions with other people on a one-on-one basis. But very often those financial professionals work with a very large organization, right? So a broker-dealer, a wirehouse, a big insurance company that they're affiliated with and their license is tied to. And so that big company has its own brand, right? And so there has to be some branding consistency that flows through to these individuals, the tip of the spear, as I call them. And these people they're distributed all over the world, right? Each one of them have their own personal business goals. Some of them want to grow and have a multi-million-dollar business. Some of them want to have just a nice, comfortable business. Some of them have already matured their business and are happy where they are, and some of them are still in growth phase, and so there's a lot of different variables there. Where FinServ Marketing comes in is we're at a really interesting flux point here that many of these individuals and the larger companies are struggling with digital marketing. So that includes social media marketing, SEO, email marketing, branding online, and so forth. Many of these firms are starting to struggle because they're in a very regulated environment. So there's a lot of fear and uncertainty as to what they can do, what they're allowed to do out there. But also, because it's so new, and as an industry, it tends to skew a little to the older side, if you will. The average financial advisor, as an example, is 49 years old.
Okay, so these are people that aren't fully immersed in the whole digital world.
Yeah, and they get technology. So I think the one thing I want to be careful about is this is not a population of people who are Luddites that don't appreciate technology. I mean, they use email robustly. They're probably using some of these technologies in their personal life. They have to use complex systems to manage their portfolios and so forth. So they get technology. So it's not that they're Luddites, like as I mentioned. It's that none of them are trained marketers in most cases. They studied finance. They studied the things they need to do to serve a customer. But one of the things you see where financial advisors and agents and so forth start to fall down is they missed a step. That building a practice requires marketing and sales. You need to know how to find customers and build your book of business. Let them know that you're out there. Share the right information with them and so forth. And where this business is somewhat unique compared to other businesses that are more transactional, if you think about a financial advisor's business, they are spending a lot of time in the awareness phase before somebody is available to be their customer. So for somebody who sells more of a transactional type of thing, you meet somebody, you tell them a little bit about what you do, you ascertain whether they have a need, and here they come, right? You can serve them. Well, the financial advisor might meet somebody and say, hey, they've got a lot of money, they need some guidance, I could probably help them, but unfortunately all their money's tied up in their 401k right now. They're currently employed, and happily so, or they have a business, so there's no investable assets available for the financial advisor when they first meet that person. And so there's now a potential long process of staying connected, making sure that they're constantly staying top of mind with that individual so that when the day comes, they're the one who gets the business. So it takes a lot more effort, and it's a little bit of a longer sales cycle.
So something like this is akin to real estate or some other sales cycle that you're creating a brand and creating that awareness and creating that positive memory so that people come back to that service professional as opposed to, hey, buy Pepsi, buy Coke, and go buy it now.
Absolutely. If the term in marketing is, obviously awareness, brand awareness, so people do that over the years. But the reason why you do brand awareness, as you mentioned, for whether it be for automobiles or for the realtor, like just think of me the time when it comes time to do business, is you want to be in what's called the consideration set, right? Nothing could be more frustrating to imagine that you met somebody who had millions of dollars once at a cocktail party, gave them your card, they weren't ready to invest, and so you never followed up with that person, and they forgot about you, and then you bump into them 5 years from now, and they're like, oh yeah, I left that business, and now I'm onto this business, and oh sorry, I'm already working with a guy, financial, I totally forgot about you, I would have worked with you, right? How frustrating is that? So there's a lot of work that goes in during that long, sometimes it feels like walking the desert, right? To make sure you are creating that awareness and maintaining that awareness so that you are at the top of that consideration set when the moment comes. And that's the reason why you see, again, auto companies, financial companies, the brands of the enterprise and so forth, continuously advertising just to stay top of mind. Think of us, think of us, think of us.
Is there a magic pill? Is there something that people can do, just that one solution, if you were to give one tip to a financial advisor, or is it a whole recipe of marketing yourself properly, branding yourself properly, and just making connections for that hopefully eventual sale?
I don't think there's any magic bullet. There's not an easy button here, right? Staples doesn't sell digital marketing services for financial advice. There are definitely some fundamentals, however, and I think some of the simplest fundamentals, and this is some of the content that we're developing at Finservmarketing really relates to this. Is some of the most basics and the fundamentals are things that come natural to marketers, but may not seem as natural to the financial professional. And frankly, in my experience with some enterprises, it's not as natural to them, and you'd be surprised that it's kind of the, oh, that does make sense type of conversations you'll occasionally have. Number one, start with the target market. Who do you serve, right? And it's one thing to say, well, I work with wealthy individuals. Well, that's not necessarily an easily targetable market to say somebody who has a lot of money is the right customer for me, right?
Okay, so you're telling them essentially to know your audience.
Yeah.
The key is know who you're selling to and know what you have to offer to that audience before you go out there and try and say, hey, I'm the best. I know what I'm doing. Buy from me.
Right, exactly, because it's very difficult. I mean, think about it. It's kind of like the comparison to an easy analogy is mass marketing versus target marketing, right? Looking at a specific niche. So what happens, what I see with a lot of professionals, and frankly I see it at the enterprise level, is let's be mass market. Well, there's a lot of other people who are trying to do mass market too. You're spending a lot of money. You have no idea if you're reaching your intended market, right? And you're just hoping. I'll use a very specific example. What I've seen very commonly over the years in financial services is advisors or agents will buy a mailing list of a list of people, thousands of individuals who live in a certain zip code maybe, and they'll assume, well, wealthy people live in that zip code, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send something in the mail to thousands of people who live in that zip code, and hopefully one of them is going to open the mail and go, yes, thank goodness this thing, that financial advisor came today. I need a financial advisor, please. Oh, I'm calling Bob. This guy sounds great. And so, of course, we know that doesn't happen, right?
Well, I can see it. I can see it happening for lawn service or for maybe a plumber or someone to throw gutters on my house. But if I get the Val pack with the financial advisor in it, that's not my buying decision right there.
But it's funny, we're mocking it, but truly that is some of the thought process that's going into it. We know it's a mass market thing. We know the response rate is going to be very low, but we also know that through that process we are leaving some awareness, some, hey, Merrill Lynch or Mike Langford Financial type of thing in somebody's mind. The problem is it's so generically targeted to a zip code that it doesn't specifically make a call to have a call to action for somebody who would be in need of your services. So get more targeted. Things like maybe people who attended the same university as you, maybe somebody who used to work at the company that you worked at before you became a financial advisor or an insurance agent, or if you have a few clients who came from the same industry, the tech industry, the marketing industry, and so forth, start to narrow it down so it's more specific and targetable, right? They should be accessible to you. If you're going to try to target market somebody, it's great to say, hey, listen, I want to work with people in the aerospace industry because I love planes. But if you're not near any aerospace hub, it's going to be very difficult for you to market to those individuals. Even though we have digital marketing, we can market from abroad, chances are that person may want to meet with you and so forth. So you better be prepared to get on a plane somewhat frequently to go visit that area. So that's number one, is really become targeted when it comes to your marketing. And that's going to help your branding. If we're sticking on the theme of branding, you will become known as the agent or advisor who serves this niche. Most advisors will tell me they get most of their new business from referrals. Well, referrals are easier if your customer knows who you are and what you do and what need you serve. So when they see a pattern recognition, when they see that, we'll use somebody in the tech space. So, hey, you're in the tech space. You just left a company and they went public and you've got some money. You should talk to Bob because Bob has worked with lots of people in the tech industry and helped them with their fortune once the companies have gone IPO or whatever that is.
So it's almost like any other form of marketing where as long as you can at least attempt to keep the message fairly simple so that anyone can understand it and pass that information along, you're doing yourself a service because those referrals will come in because I might know exactly what you do and I can tell people what it is instead of being a little wishy-washy and saying, yeah, well, he helps people manage money. I don't know what people, but I know he works with money.
Right, absolutely. It just makes it a lot easier for you to communicate your value proposition, and it also makes it much easier for your customers and your referral partners. Going to work with other business people who send you business, and make it easy for them to recognize a customer for you.
Now, if there's one thing that you do for companies, and I know it's a longer process to go through a whole content strategy and social strategy and figure all this stuff out, but if there were maybe one or two things that you are doing for these advisors or for these firms, what would it be? And you don't have to give away any of your secrets, but maybe when you go in there, what do you tell them? How do you approach them? And then how do you build your book of business as far as finding clients who need this social support, this social awareness, this social strategy?
Yeah, so I think it's a funny thing you think about financial services companies, and I'll stick mainly with the financial advisor set and the broker dealers through which those advisors are affiliated. That business is somewhat of a unique business. It's set up on a recurring revenue stream. It's not very transactional in most cases. So most advisors are building a book of business of clients that they will continually serve, and they earn a fee for serving those clients. There are some times where it's transactional, where there's a commission thing, but for the most part, it's ongoing service of a client and that client's assets. And so if you think about the things we want to do, we want to help those advisors win new business from new clients. Most of them saying, hey, I need new clients. My book of business is not big enough. But we also want to help those advisors look at their existing book of business and make sure that they expand the share of wallet that they have from their existing clients. Right? Most advisors don't have 100% of their clients' money, so we want to help them increase their share of wallet, get more business from existing customers. And then lastly, we want to really focus on helping the advisors keep clients longer. Clients don't stay with an advisor forever. They will change. When I was back in my early days in the financial services industry at a large financial firm there in Boston, Fidelity Investments, there was a time when the average client retention time period, lifetime of a customer, was 7 years for one part of their business. And so what we knew was if we could keep customers for just 6 months longer, it literally meant millions and millions of dollars to the bottom line because we've already won the customer. So let's just keep them longer because we're continuously earning money from them by serving that customer. So everything I do revolves around that. So we're talking about increasing we talk about target market, identify a target market, create strategies to help the advisors position themselves from a branding perspective, but also position their marketing so that it goes after that target market to win new customers, right? To consistently demonstrate their expertise, to be aware of their existing customers' needs. So we start to get into some social aspects of it so that we're connecting with our existing customers and as much of the network that surrounds those existing customers so that we're always aware of what's happening in our clients' lives, right? So that we can serve them better. And then in terms of keeping clients longer, it's making sure that you're repeatedly demonstrating your value and touching those people over time so that they feel like, why on earth would I ever leave this person? They're always connected with me, right? I've got a real tangible connectedness to this person who's helping me achieve my goals. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's good. No, that's perfect. I think some of the questions that people are going to have is, how long does something like this take? Do you have to go in and say, okay, we have a 5-year plan for you as an advisor, or is this something that you can go in and say, look, let's do a handful of meetings, let me do some evaluation, and in 3 months' time we can get you on track to doing the right things, but you still have to be dedicated to that? You're sort of, in my eyes, the personal trainer to these people in social strategy for the financial market, but I don't know if that's accurate.
So the answer is, it's not going to happen in a week, right? You're not going to walk into an organization and say, hey, listen, let's talk about some things we can do with your advisor population. This is going to have a very big impact on your business if we do these things. We're going to win new business, we're going to keep clients longer, and we're going to increase our share of wallet. It's not going to happen overnight, right? Because it does take a little bit of time. But within a year's time, which is a reasonable time frame for a large organization, they should see material change to all 3 of those dials: new business from new customers, new business from existing customers, and keeping clients longer. They should be able to start seeing that and growth within the books of business of the population in which they're rolling out these digital marketing programs. And the reason for that is many of these people, we'll just take social as an example, many of these populations have really not taken social seriously. They may have a LinkedIn account and they've got some connections and so forth, but they really haven't looked at it as a true marketing channel for them. So if we do some of the very basic fundamentals, like why don't you connect with people that you have in your address book? See all those stacks of business cards you have on your desk? Let's get those people into your network and make sure we stay connected with them. You're likely to see opportunities to win new business. We do some of those very basic fundamentals. Repeatedly, what I've seen in my experience over the years is very quickly people start reporting in, I've got 3 new clients, or I've got 6 new prospects in the hopper that I can't believe these people were just sitting there waiting effectively, but once I connected with them on LinkedIn, they noticed me and they're reaching out to do business because they just happen to see me there. They happen to have a need, right? If you look on LinkedIn, LinkedIn there's a great little trick for anybody in your audience. There's a tool called Year in Review, and every January you'll get an email from LinkedIn, but it's yir.linkedin.com, and it stands for Year in Review. It'll show you everyone in your network that has changed jobs over the last year, that's had a job change. And you will be blown away by the number of people who have had what we call in the financial services industry money in motion events. A job change means there's a rollover, right? That people may need some financial guidance, that they may be exploring, reviewing their insurance profiles. What do I have for life insurance and all the other insurance needs I may have? So those types of things are very much fluid. So there could be very immediate impacts from the strategies that we put in place and the training that we start to roll out with the organization and the individuals.
So as you go forward with this, how do people get in touch with you? I know you're building out some of your your materials still? How do people contact you if this is something they're looking for their financial services firm or as an advisor?
Yep. So they can reach me. I'm at Mike Langford everywhere. So Mike Langford on every social network you can imagine. So you can look for me that way. You can also go to finservmarketing.com. And you can reach me. My email there is Mike at. I'm not sure if we want to get my. No, it's Mike at finservmarketing.com. Yeah, you can reach me at any of those places. Always happy to have like quick little introductory conversations, talk about your business a little bit, find out what you're doing, and looking forward to working with them.
Thanks very much for your time.
Well, thank you, sir.